How's everybody doing this morning?
Good.
Yes. Everybody enjoying their breakfast?
Excellent.
All right. We have a little casual meeting today. I've developed a program that I want to share with everybody.
Excuse me if I walk in front of you.
Before I get into a little history about me, some of you know who I am, some of you don't. My name is Chris Dano. I'm a lieutenant with the Southborough Fire Department. I'm the liaison for the fire department for the seniors in town. Part of my job is, I come to the senior center, and we want to spread the word that we want you to be comfortable calling the fire department. People always think that they're bothering us when they call us. We do all kinds of calls. We don't just do medicals and fires. If you don't know, you typically call the fire department, and we try to help you out any way we can. So we want to make you feel comfortable when you have to deal with us in any situation. And we also want to get our finger on the pulse of the community, not just here, but the seniors that are in the town, myself and Officer Richardson from the police department. Anytime there's a senior in the community that we meet, we evaluate them and see if there's any services that they might need, and we try to point them in the right direction and try to increase the well-being of our seniors. It's a nice thing to be able to do in a small community, to be able to help people more closely.
Like if your cat's up in the tree.
You know what? People always joke about that, but I have done that. Last week I did a call. Actually, in the last 2 weeks, I've done 2 calls with bats in the house.
Bats.
Yeah. So you never know. That's a beautiful thing about my job, is I never know what I'm going to be doing from 1 minute to the next. But helping people is always the best reward. And so to be able to help people in all different types of facets is a lot of fun. I'm also the safe educator in the community, which means it used to be just geared towards children, and we'd go to the schools and we'd teach stop, drop, and roll and fire safety to kids, because they were our target hazard, where children cause the most fires. In the last decade, that's slowly dwindled because of the success of the program. There's only been 1 pediatric fatality in the last 3 years in the state of Massachusetts. So what the state has done is they've added a senior element, because as you know, we do EMS, we do the ambulance. So we meet a lot of elderly on the ambulance, and we do a lot of calls involving fires with the elderly. So that's kind of our new target hazard. So the state has a grant that we are awarded every year to do these SAFE programs, and they've added an element for the seniors. So we have a little bit more money that we can share with our community and do different programs. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here today. Is I developed a program where I'll talk to you about, and this is just something. It's a voluntary thing. Where we're going to go to your house. If you want us to come to your house and do what we call like a safety audit, or if you have a family member in your community in Southborough who you're concerned about might have some safety issues in their house, we'll go there and we'll I have a little checklist I'm going to go over with you, the things that we check out in the house, and we make suggestions, and we'll try to help you make your home safer. Like I said, it's voluntary. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to do it, but I just kind of spreading the word. I call them a home safety visit. And some of the things that we're looking for is one of the big things that we find in houses that we have fires is cleanliness. Okay, we're not going to come to your house and clean your house for you, and I'm certainly not going to go to your house and tell you your house is dirty. But we will make suggestions if you have sometimes you have a pile of laundry on your dryer, and your dryer vent has got 4 inches of lint in it. To kind of educate people on cleaning out your dryer vent. That's one of the big areas where fires are caused. Another thing we check is smoke detectors. Okay, it's not a smoke detector inspection like we do when you sell your house and it's a pass-fail. We want to go there and we want to check the condition of your smoke detectors. A lot of people have detectors that are over 10 or 15 years old. It's one of those things you tend to forget about unless you're selling your house or or it goes off and we come visit you then. We want to see the condition of your smoke detectors and see if we can maybe upgrade them for you. I'm working on a program, hopefully next year, where we'll have smoke detectors to be able to give out. This is the first year for it, so still kind of in its infancy, but if we go to a house and we see a detector that's old and yellow and doesn't work, we can help replace that. We've done battery replacement in the past where we'll help you replace your batteries with donated batteries. Another one is area rugs. Area rugs is a big one for us. Slip and falls are probably one of the most common reasons why we'll come to someone's house for our elderly population. Area rugs, everybody likes to have their nice decorative rugs on their floors. It can be a tripping hazard. It's also a slip hazard. We suggest that you put the two-sided tape underneath it, or those rubber mats underneath it so that you don't slip or trip over them. And that's one of the things that we'll look for. Hopefully we'll have some rubber mats to be able to put underneath your rugs to help prevent that. Another thing is the condition of your stairs. Some of the houses that we go to, you walk down the banisters and they're about ready to fall off, and as you get older you rely on that banister a little bit more, and we've had calls where people have the banister has failed and people fall down the stairs. So if we can judge how the condition of your stairs are, we can help you point you in the right direction to get them stronger and fixed. The other thing with stairs is people tend to, this is my pet peeve in my own house, is people putting their sneakers on the stairs or their books, and the next thing you know, it's like another shelf. And a couple things, just up and down the stairs on a regular basis, you could trip over them. But God forbid there's a fire in your house and you trip over that and you fall down the stairs. Now we've got dual issues. You're fired in your house and you're injured because you fell down the stairs. So we suggest that you keep your stairs clear of any type of debris or books or anything else. Another thing we look for is I'm going to hand out. I have little goodie bags for everybody. Pill organizers is always a great thing. Another typical call we do is people that either forget to take their medication or they've taken too much of their medication. I think we've all done it. Even myself, I actually right now have a sinus infection, and I had to think to myself, did I take my antibiotic this morning? so I have pill dispensers to hand out to people. If you don't have one already, you want one, they're free. Courtesy of the senior center, I should say. They weren't really free, but they're free for you. So that's another thing, you use the pill counters, okay? And the other thing with this program is when we go to people's houses, one of the first things we look at is your refrigerator, believe it or not, because we hand out file of life to people as much as we can. We keep them in the ambulance. I actually have one here. There's different types. We've got these big ones that we got free. They all do the same job. And basically, what it is it just has your information, your doctor's information, your next of kin, any medication that you're on, and it has a magnet and it just sticks to your refrigerator. And we have these little ones here that can go in your wallet, and then we have another one that's a little bit bigger, which is also magnetized. So if you're having a difficult time breathing, let's say, instead of us asking you a million questions about who you are and what's going on, I can take this list of medications off the refrigerator. I'm trained to look at medications, and I can tell your medical history by the medication that you're on. So it kind of saves us a conversation when you're not feeling good, and it also helps us when we go to the hospital to be able to transfer that information to the doctor. So these are in that little goodie bag as well. So The last thing I want to talk about is cooking safety and fire safety. Okay. The majority of the calls we do, and actually the leading cause of injury in elderly is cooking issues. We want to reiterate: call 911 quickly. Okay, we want to get there and be able to put out a small fire before it gets big. If you're cooking and you start a fire, don't be ashamed. Okay, call 911 quickly so that the professionals can come there and put out the fire. Don't try to put it out yourself. Okay, if you have a little small grease fire in the kitchen and you've got a cover and you want to cover it, that's fine. Okay, but if you think that it's going to get out of control, don't be afraid to call us. Okay, we're really not that far away, and most of those type of kitchen calls we handle very quickly, and there's not a lot of damage. You know, don't move the pan. Okay, if you say you have a grease fire and you don't have a cover, one of the mistakes people make is they'll actually move the pan, and the grease is splatting all over the place, and you can burn your skin. It also, the oxygen will feed the fire, and it makes it worse. And now you've moved it out of the kitchen to somewhere else, try to move it outside, and people have dropped it, and then all of a sudden it gets the wall on fire, and now you got a big mess. So that's why we say, just leave it alone. If you can cover it with a cover, great. If not, back away, call 911 and let us handle it. I don't know if you remember, there was a Bugs Bunny cartoon, fire safety commercial, keep your pot handles turned in. I don't know if you remember that. And the other one was someone wearing a bathrobe, and their bathrobe catches on fire. This is probably common sense to you, but cooking with a bathrobe on or loose clothing is another issue where you can catch fire while you're cooking. So you want to make sure you're wearing tight-fitted clothes and not loose-fitting clothes that can catch on fire. Okay. I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but these are things that they kind of want to, remind. Everybody needs to be reminded of stuff every now and then. And the last thing is, we teach the little ones in the school to stop, drop, and roll if their clothes ever catch on fire. Same thing goes for you. If your clothes catch on fire, I'll just demonstrate real quick. I'm not going to roll on the ground because I got a lot of stuff on me. But if your clothes catch on fire, your natural instinct is to run around and try to figure out a way to put it out. That's the worst thing you can do, because the oxygen will feed into that, and you'll start to catch more of your clothes on fire. The best thing to do is just to stop what you're doing, drop to the ground, cover your face, and then roll back and forth until your clothes go out. That's the best thing you can do if you should get into that type of situation.
So that you don't continually roll, you just
kind of roll back and forth. You can continually roll if you have enough room, but it's probably easier just to roll one way and then to the other, and try to smother out that fire. So I know these are probably things that you're probably already aware of. But like I said, especially the safety visits is something that I'm particularly proud of, and I'd like to spread the word, even if it's not anybody in this room. But if you know people that you're concerned about, we really want to get our finger on the pulse of the community. We want to help. We want to let people know that we don't just sit around the fire station and watch TV. It's a small community. There's 5 of us that are on duty, and we really love to help people. We'd love to be out in the community. Right now, you'll notice that none of the other firefighters are here. They're at the school, showing the kids the ladder truck, and after that, we'll be somewhere else doing more education for the community. It's something that we love to do, and it's funny because people, like I said, people always say, "Geez, I'm sorry I had to call you." I'm not sorry that you called me, because I get to meet you, and I get to get out of the fire station, and I get to usually handle a call that's very minor, versus if you didn't call me and then waited and you're really sick, or you've got a bigger fire that I have to deal with. So prevention is the best way for us to get our job done, is to prevent it from happening in the first place. The other reason why on a side note here, the reason why we're doing these home visits is I've been a paramedic for 20 years, and you take people to the hospital. That's all. You're sick, you go to the hospital. It may not be an emergency to me. You might have a headache. Okay, that's not an emergency to me, but it's an emergency to you. We take you to the hospital. That's actually going to evolve a little bit in the next year or two, where they're going to be doing this thing called community paramedicine. And instead of us taking non-emergent patients to the hospital and inundating the emergency room with people that really could just be triaged, those people are going to be reserved for sick people. What they're going to do is we're going to start treating people at home through medical control for the doctor. Okay, we do that now. I work for a doctor. We have a medical control doctor, and if you're sick, I'm trained to give you certain medications, and there's certain medications where, or if I have any questions, I can call on my radio, and the doctor answers at the hospital. I tell them what's going on, and I say, this is what I'd like to do, and he or she says, okay, go for it. Or they might say, hey, why don't you hold off and wait till you get to the emergency room. So we have what they call medical direction from our doctor. So we're going to be using that in the home. So if you're home and you've got some type of illness, we're going to be able to eventually go to your house, hopefully treat you at home, evaluate whether or not you need to be treated in the emergency room, or set up an appointment with your primary care doctor. And it's going to get a little bit more involved at home versus just scoop you up and bring you to the hospital. So these home visits is kind of like an introduction for us to get into people's homes and for you to get to know who we are, not just me, but the other guys. They're all like me. They all have the same personality as me. We all love to help people, and kind of get into the home and have a little bit more of a better relationship.
I've got a question.
Sure.
A couple of 5 years ago, the carbon monoxide detectors, is that a state law that they have them in the home or not?
Yes. Yeah.
You didn't mention. I was just wondering.
Yeah. Thank you. I didn't bring that up. When we look for your smoke detectors, we'll be looking for the CO detectors as well. That is a state law now. When you do any type of transaction with your home, whether you're selling the home or you pull a permit to remodel your house, we do a smoke detector inspection, make sure they're in the right spot. We also make sure that you're supposed to have a carbon monoxide detector on every level that you live on. So let's say you have a finished basement and you spend time down there, you'd want to have a CO detector down there. So that's another thing that we would look for. And that also brings up a good point. Since that law came into place and there's been more carbon monoxide detectors, that's another reason why people call us, and they always say, "Oh, geez, it's been going off all day," and they wait 10 hours to call us. It's going off for a reason, and I always tell them, I'd much rather go. We go to your house, and we run our own meter through the house. Sometimes we'll run 2 meters just so it's kind of redundant, so that we know, if one meter's not working, it's safe to know that there's another meter there, just to make sure there's no CO in your house. 90% of the time, it's a false alarm, but it gives you the peace of mind knowing that there's no CO in your house, rather than worrying about it all day. So we get a lot of those calls, and it's another one of those things where people think that they're bothering us, And again, it's like, I'd rather come to your house, walk around your house and have 0 readings on a meter than having to deal with you being really sick later on, So it's another good way for prevention. Thank you for bringing that up.
On an emergency call, do you get a quicker response to 911 or calling the fire department direct?
You definitely want to call 911. We always try to tell people to call 911 because there's only 5 of us on duty, and we could be out on another call, or we could be out on the air training. So sometimes the fire station is unmanned. Okay. So you may get the business line and nobody answers because we're out on another. Like I said, we're out of the building for some reason. If you call 911, it get a couple things. It automatically, if you call from a ground line with 911, it automatically gives us your location. So God forbid you can't breathe or you can't talk for some reason, all you need to do is hit 911 and let the receiver on the ground. They're going to instantly find you. If you use a cell phone, it takes a little bit longer because your cell phone goes to the state police. So it'll go to the state police in Framingham. They'll GPS track your phone as well, but then it gets transferred to Southborough and then to us. So the quickest way to get a hold of us is 911 on a ground line, and then the second way would be 911 on a cell phone.
Okay.
But yeah, we try to tell people not to call the business line. We don't have an automated system yet, where like most places where if you're looking for a so-and-so, dial 1 or an extension, that may come down the road too, so that's another reason. We still answer the phone, Southborough Fire, how can I help you? So don't be afraid to call 911. That's what it's there for. You can use your judgment. If you're sick or there's an emergency, definitely call. But if you have a question, you can certainly call the fire department.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got 2 questions for you.
Sure.
Hot air system.
Yes.
Isn't it best to locate the carbon monoxide thing near the return vent to the furnace, or and you don't want them up more than 4 feet off the floor, I believe.
Carbon monoxide is colorless and odorless, so you don't want to have it too close to your heating system, because you'll eventually get false readings. As long as it's in the general vicinity of where your living areas are, it's fine. Yep.
But because it's heavier than air, you don't want it 6 feet off the floor, or up on the ceiling where you put your smoke detectors.
Well,
or
we don't
you'll
know.
be dead before the damn thing goes off.
Yeah.
Pardon my
Well,
French.
now the combination, they are actually selling combination detectors where it's along with the
Smoke.
Yeah. So studies have shown it doesn't really matter where you put it, because it's a colorless, odorless gas. So it floats around. It's not necessarily heavier than air. It floats around.
Ooh.
So it spreads very quickly. So even with our meters, we can just walk around and have the meter on our coat, and it'll pick it up instantly.
Now, the other thing I wanted to ask about, home fire extinguishers.
Sure.
Most of us don't have the old soda acid ones.
Yeah.
The new ones seem to go dead or fail, or I don't know. I had one that I carried in my car trunk, for instance, to have on the road.
You wind up having it for 20 years, and then you wonder or not whether or not it
Well,
works.
I took it out to use it the other day,
Yep.
and it was dead.
Yeah.
And that's a pressurized extinguisher.
Right.
Now, can they be repressurized, or do they have to be?
Typically, they don't get the little ones that you buy.
Yeah.
The personal ones don't get recharged, because they have plastic components to them, so they don't recharge, and they're usually disposable, and you have to buy another one. The extinguishers that you see here, they get rotated every 2 years.
Yeah, but
So-
a homeowner can't afford it.
Exactly. So we don't typically encourage you to get a smoke detector. I'm sorry, a fire extinguisher, because we don't want you fighting your own fire. Extinguishers are really for, you'll notice they're near the exits, okay? It's to basically grab it, kind of shoot your way out of the building. Extinguishers sometimes encourage people to do our job.
And they're not trained for it.
Right, exactly. So if you want to get an extinguisher, you might have to check it every once in a while just to see if the pressure's up. But it is a gamble whether or not it's going to work. I had the same issue. I had one near my fireplace for 5 or 6 years, and I went to use it, and it didn't work. The pressure had released. So they're not very dependable, those small extinguishers.
Thank you.
If I fall and call 911 and I can't get up, how are you going to get into my locked house?
Well, any way we can. But there's a couple ways. Some people, believe it or not, will leave us information where there's a key hidden, or they'll give us information. Maybe a neighbor will have a key. Some people have a lockbox on their garage.
Or on the foundation next to the door.
Yeah, exactly. And what you can do is you can actually let the police know what the combination is. And in our reporting system, when we go to your house, it comes up in a little red line, the person has a lockbox, this is the code. And then we don't say it over the air. I'll call on my cell phone and say, what's the combination? So we can go in that way. Another way is you can get a Oxbox. They cost about, I think it's about $40. It's a company and it's a little safe. And what it is it's a little safe that goes on your house. You'll notice that every commercial building and school in town has them. There's a key inside the engine, the fire trucks and the ambulances, that's also locked in a safe. And we know the combination, so what we do is we take the combination out of the engine, take the key out. That key opens up every safe in the community, including the one that if you were to buy one, we'd help you install it. Opens up that safe, takes your key out, and then we can open up the door that way. And worst case scenario is if there's no access to a key, we'll break into your house. It all depends. If you're really sick, I'm not really going to be worried about a window or a door. I want to get you out. We try to find the cheapest way. Believe it or not, the cheapest way is usually a window versus smashing through the front door like the Kool-Aid Man and breaking your jam and the door jam and having to have a carpenter come fix it. We'll send a guy through a window. If you're not really sick, we'll take our time and find the best way to get in. We're pretty good at breaking in the houses. I know that's going to be on TV, but
What do you call that thing?
a Knoxbox. It's KNOX box. You can call the fire department, and our secretary Sue has the information if you want to order one. I think they're like $40. I don't quote me on that, but and like I said, it bolts right into wherever you want to put it in your house. We try to keep them visible so that we know you have one. You can put a little sticker on your door that says you have an Oxbox. We'll go looking for it. And like I said, it just we take the key out of the engine, and then that key opens up the key to your safe, and then we take your key out, and then we lock everything back.
A couple of years ago, the town supplied them. I got one through the town, 10, 15 years ago.
Okay, I might be mistaken. I don't.
It's
I'm
right
not
next-
aware of that. Maybe that is the case.
It's on the
I'll have to
front,
double check that, but I mean that might be the
it's on the
case.
foundation right next to the door, and it says lockbox.
Okay.
And you're supposed to supposedly have a general key that'll open the thing.
All right, I can check into that. I can check into that for you. I'll get back to you on that. So,
How many keys do you have?
what's that?
How many keys come?
It actually doesn't come with a key. It actually, the lockbox will come just as a safe. What we'll do is we open it for you. You put your house key in it.
Yeah, that's what I did.
It's us. Yeah, not even the police department, just the fire department. So it actually comes unlocked. You put your key in there. We'll place it on your wall, and then you give us whatever key opens your door. We put it in there and we lock it up, and even you can't get at it. We're the only ones that will be able to get at it. And if you move, you just call us and let us know, and we'll undo it. Yeah. So if you look at all the schools or a commercial building, you'll notice that near the front door there's usually a little metal safe, and every community has them now. So, and the keys are different for every community.
Chris, I just have a comment.
Here's your answer.
At the beginning here, we talked about bats getting in the house.
Yes.
The most common way, 90% of the time that bats get in the house,
Yeah.
people should be aware of this. When you, my two sons got a bat in the bed,
Last time they came in
and
the basement door.
my son comes running downstairs in the morning and says, Dad, there's a bat in my bed. And I said, I told you to keep your glove and bat in the garage.
Yeah.
He goes, no, a bird bat. I go, what? I go up and it's in his blanket. It's still alive. It's rolled up.
Yeah.
So the two boys are 5 and 7. They're sharing the same bedroom. The door was closed. The rest of us were safe.
Yeah.
They had to go through those shots
Yeah.
because they couldn't
Oh,
tell.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I let the bat go.
Yeah.
I should have kept it.
Yeah.
That was my first mistake.
Yeah.
But The biggest mistake I made is how the bat got into the house. When you put your window air conditioners into your windows,
Oh, yeah.
that foam strip that goes across and tucks down into
Yeah.
the window, a lot of people say, I'm not putting that thing in.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little crack, right? And bats, like bat boxes, they're little, they have suction cups. They stick to the window.
Yeah.
They crawl right up into the house. So
Oh, yeah.
that foam strip's very important.
That's good knowledge. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so just so that
How do you get back?
90% of the time.
There was
that's how
one
they
in
get it.
Northborough yesterday. I don't know if you read. I read somewhere. Yes, in Northborough they had a rabies case.
Yeah, my kids had to go through those shots.
When you call 911,
Sure.
but the 911 call, if you call from Southborough,
Yep.
don't go into Southborough, you go to the state police and then they'll ask you what town, is that correct?
If you call from a cell phone, it'll go to the state police.
If you call from your,
If you call from a ground line, like on, yeah, it'll
you'll
go.
go to Southborough?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're in Southborough, if you live in Ashland, it would go to like Ashland Police. Yep. And it automatically comes up with your address. So, and they do that it's called reverse 911, like sometimes you get those phone messages, like there's a storm. They use that to give you information. Yeah. So,
Do people understand what I mean by the foam strip between the two windows?
Yeah, you want to put that in there. Don't
Yeah.
like that, right?
You might want to use that in
Yeah.
your speech when you're
Yeah.
telling people.
Yeah, that's good. Appreciate that. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah. These are great questions, yeah.
All right, I have a medical question.
Sure.
You said you're going to have a new medical thing.
Yeah.
If somebody dies at home and they're obviously very dead, are you going to be able to pronounce them rather than
We
have
already
the
do.
body taken to the emergency room?
What we do is if we have, we get called to your house and we find someone who's passed away, we have to confirm that we can pronounce people dead. We put them on our monitor and we make sure that there's no heartbeat in a couple different leads, and there's certain symptoms that we look for. Once we've confirmed that they're passed, we don't take them to the hospital. We will assist you in calling the funeral home, and it actually becomes a police matter at that. Our police department takes care of that. We'll help you out any way we can, but the police department is there with us, and they'll help you arrange funeral arrangements and the transport the body to the funeral home. But yeah, we do pronounce people, and sometimes obviously we'll do CPR on them, bring them to the hospital if we feel they're viable. So. Any other questions? Yeah. So go ahead.
You didn't mention candles.
Candles, yes. Thank you. In this bag here, I have flashlights as well. That's a great point. I'm sorry I didn't bring that up. In the past, when you lose your power, typically people start lighting candles because they're cheap and they're easy to use, but they do catch fire. Obviously, you get it next to a curtain or a windowsill or any type of flammable, and we lose power. Those are one of the things we think about when we have a power loss, is people using candles. So in these bags here, there's glow sticks or a flashlight that I kind of handed out. We always want you to use flashlights instead of candles. Thank you. That's an excellent point.
Chris, what about the old light switch if you smell gas, like especially
Yeah,
going down the
yeah.
basement, hitting the light switch?
Yeah, if you smell gas, don't flick switches. Definitely call us. We'll come again. We come with our meter, and we'll check to make sure there's no explosive limits in the house. And even if there is a small amount of gas, we're going to call the gas company and help you get that taken care of.
Is it safe to call from the house or should
You might want to call from your neighbor's house. That would be the safest suggestion, is either call from your neighbor's house or go outside and call from a cell phone. All right.
If you saw a situation that required police,
Yes.
but there was no police there,
Yep.
how far did the fire department have in arresting somebody?
Oh, we can't arrest anybody. If we have the police go with us on every call, because you never know you never know what you're going to. You know, you could be getting called for someone with a broken leg, and it could be a domestic dispute with somebody who's got a gun or a dog, or so the police go with us on every call, and it's my job as a lieutenant, the incident commander, to deem that scene safe. And if I don't think the scene is safe, we don't go in. We wait for the police. You know, we've had calls where we'll stand by a block away while the police go in. They make sure that the scene is safe for us, and then we go in and deal with whatever the situation is. But we don't have any arresting powers, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your time. If you have any other questions, feel free to shoot. Or you can call me at the station.
You didn't have a gun.
Yeah.